which will be uploaded in a few days. But today's session will be with Richard Menang from the United Nations Environment Program. And Dr. Menang is a regional coordinator of climate change at the sub-regional office in Africa for the United Nations. With a PhD from Nottingham University in environment change and policy, he has also written articles and a book on climate change and sustainable development. And he has won several prizes for his work, such as the 2020 African Green Champion Award. And today, Dr. Menang will talk about how we can create a career path within the sustainability field. And we're very thankful to have him here today to speak to all of you. And yeah, now it's time to give the word to him. Dr. Menang, you're welcome to start the presentation.
Excellent. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here today, and especially for everyone who is watching and the organizers of this, everyone across the world, respectable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I will start with an African proverb, which is that not everyone who chased the zebra caught it, but he who caught the zebra chased it. I consider this African proverb the best analogy of the mindset anyone in search for opportunities needs to have, which is to take chances wherever they are. And this is my message to you today. As you prepare to embark on a career in sustainability, take all your chances. Across the globe, the word career sometimes is associated with jobs. But I am sure that you did not bring me here to speak to you on how to apply for jobs. If you did, I definitely think you would have invited a human resource person instead. So my invitation therefore tells me that you are looking for more. But what is this more? We know that every adversity carries with it the seeds of equal or greater benefit. This more that we desire is hidden in devising solutions to the challenges the globe faces today. And everywhere you look, there is no shortage, from the vagaries of the COVID-19 emergency that is plaguing the world today to the urgent need to achieve the net zero emissions in less than 30 years as we speak. From today, the challenges needing solutions are endless. Are you listening? Today is time to build lucrative careers if you commit yourself to becoming solution providers leveraging on sustainability as a strategic tool. And I know there could be a question, how do I know this? Well, I draw lessons from my own progression as a student and practitioner in the sustainability field. I speak informed by the synthesized facts drawn from global trends on sustainability. And I speak informed by the real-life examples of benefits accruing to those who have taken steps to devise solutions through the sustainability lens. So the question is, so what next after school? How do we then develop a career in sustainability? As someone who studied in the sustainability fields, I bear a positive message for you today. And that positive message for your career progression is what I've learned over the past 20 years. 20 years ago, I was in my early 20s, and like many who are listening today, I was finding my feet as a young person, had to build a career. In my quest, I came to appreciate two fundamental realities. The first is encapsulated in a self-explanatory African proverb, which says that if you are not part of the solution, then you are part of the problem. The second was a lesson on the importance of being useful, the importance of being of value to society. These aspects are what I wish to remind you today, that a solutions provider who is useful and is of value is a magnet to opportunities anywhere on this planet Earth. It is my hope that many who are listening in today will choose to be on this pathway. As we're speaking today, the global trends are teaching us one thing. We cannot negate the fact that today's career scene is a continuously fluid space. We are seeing advancements in robotics, for instance, and artificial intelligence, meaning more of what was done by humans in the past is now accomplished by programs running on computers. It is projected that in less than 9 years from today, up to 40% of jobs in leading economies will be automated. And this trend will only continue as the pace of artificial intelligence development is unrelenting. Traditional sustainability careers are not spared either. With artificial intelligence now capable of making better decisions towards helping farmers increase yields per hectare, or on accelerating our response to the changing climate, or optimizing clean energy solutions, or monitoring the environment, among other traditional sustainability actions, the landscape, therefore, is no longer traditional, and we have no choice but to adapt and revamp our skills. As we are speaking today, the world again is moving towards ensuring what is called the net zero emissions by 2050. This global trend is on. Sweden, where many of you are in today, where your base has set for itself a more ambitious target. It aims to achieve net zero emissions 5 years earlier than the global benchmark. What this tells us is that mainstream economic activities in non-environmental areas like transport, energy, hospitality, fashion, as well as the environment alike in areas of forestry will experience a radical shift towards processes, towards products and services that accelerate economic returns and profitability, simultaneously with mitigating emissions and driving sustainability indicators in equal measures. But the globe has not fully figured out all the answers, meaning that those among you today who immerse themselves into these kind of solutions will have a head start in a significant and rapidly emerging area. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, recently the entire globe has been subjected to this global trend called the COVID pandemic, unprecedented challenge of this COVID pandemic having resultant losses to the global economy, estimated to have exceeded by over 60% the devastation of the historic 2008 global financial crisis. In just 1 year, the global economy has lost up to $700 billion in capital availability and up to $6 trillion in trade, a 50% larger decline than was experienced in 2008. As we are, the 2020 UNEP Emissions Gap Report and Adaptation Gap Report have called for a strategic pathway called the Green Pandemic Recovery. This then implies increased global reprioritization of physical investments in trajectories that lower emissions while driving the much needed socioeconomic bottom line benefits for millions across the entire world. Following this approach will unlock income opportunities to drive the post-COVID-19 recovery while cutting emissions by up to about 25% in less than 9 years from today, bringing the world closer to achieving the net zero target by 2050, but also guaranteeing increased economic growth. These UNEP emissions reports, the emission gap and the adaptation gap, showed that failure to do so means losses will increase to about 2.2%. But investments can mean one thing: lucrative enterprise opportunities for everyone on this planet Earth who take chances in devising solutions that will make the green pandemic recovery a reality, both for Sweden and the entire globe. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, having put this global trend, what you will see is that each of us, regardless of where we are and which country we come from, must revisit the traditional understanding of career building, an understanding defined by names of organizations or areas of training or professions or paychecks is what we used to. But that's not how we're going to look at career building today. Seizing opportunities by retooling our skills. This new foundation can be summarized in just 2 words that have defined my own career and which I mentioned earlier: being useful, being useful, being of value. The one thing that you should continuously ask yourself and answer yourself is, how can my chosen area of study, how can the position of interest to me in sustainability as solutions that touch the lives of millions of people being fostered? We have a planet of over 7.8 billion citizens. What additional knowledge, skills, or attribute do you need to acquire? That's a question you should ask to complement your chosen field and offer value. You will then need to continuously recalibrate and perfect these answers as time moves on. I faced this reality in my choice of career in sustainability and have continued to confront it to date. Over 20 years ago, I graduated with an undergraduate degree in physics. It was a field I enjoyed. I enjoyed solving problems of theoretical physics. But even as the library was my favorable place, outside the library doors, I was met with a totally different reality. Every time I went home for the semester break, I was constantly reminded of the reality of people in my community, the reality of increasing variable weather causing constant declining yields in my mother's farm, a reality that was shared by many mothers across the village and even in neighboring villages and in the community. I was reminded of the reality of needing to do more with less. I was reminded of our lands looking increasingly dry and crusted. I was reminded of the number of seasonal rivers that have ebbed away, been lost in our area. With these stark realities, it soon dawned on me that the core of the livelihoods of people was under a serious threat. And if we did nothing, it would only mean more pain for many mothers and many mothers across the continent and even the world. In no time, I realized that this was a problem faced not only in our village or in our community or in our country, but across the entire continent. And I realized that solving these challenges would take much more than my liking of theoretical physics. It would take additional knowledge and skills. And this is how I found myself applying for scholarships to learn more about the phenomenon that is today called climate change, and ended up graduating with a master's and a PhD in climate change and environmental change policy. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the point of me telling you this is to stress the foundational lesson of career building, drawing from my own example. It is my desire to be useful towards offering a solution that touched many lives, that informed my career path from the beginning. This desire has continued till today to refine and govern my career engagements in my area of specialty, which is climate change and development policy. Out of necessity to touch many lives as possible, we've continued to move the narrative of climate change and sustainability away from the traditional logic of regulatory measures alone. And instead, we've continued to present a counter-narrative of an investment opportunity. Climate action is an investment opportunity that can unlock leading socioeconomic challenges across the world, from food insecurity to youth unemployment. We have presented climate action as a source of accessible, effective, and competitive solutions to these leading mainstream socioeconomic development challenges. I encourage you to borrow a leaf and look at how your chosen area of interest that you are studying or you are working in can become a source of competitive socioeconomic solution to mainstream economic priorities. There is no absence of challenges, but there is absence of solutions to addressing those challenges in the world. Across the entire world, there are many different examples of industries showcasing how sustainability can unlock careers and enterprise opportunities for solution providers. The forestry sector, for example, is one area that is unlocking diverse career pathways founded on sustainability. As we speak today, the globe loses about 15 billion trees every year. 15 billion trees every year. This trend makes it nearly impossible to achieve the global target of net zero emissions by 2050. In response to this dire need for solutions, people across the globe are coming up with different initiatives to devise solutions. And in this process, we are seeing new sustainability career pathways springing up. For example, an initiative called Gain Forest uses artificial intelligence to reverse deforestation. By combining data analysis to measure sustainable land use with smart contracts, this initiative is unlocking donations to forest communities when restoration milestones are reached. And many more of these with applications developed by young people, whether they're fintech applications like Cultivo, startups aiming to unlock 1 billion of investment over the next 5 years in at least 3.5 million acres of restoration projects, including forests, grasslands, wetlands, and regenerative agriculture, or young people who are developing connecting the dots application to link mothers who are growing food and connecting them to market. But forestry is not just the other area, or agriculture, other non-environmental related areas are equally wanting for sustainability solutions. A good example is electric mobility. This industry is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 21.6% to reach $483.3 billion in less than 5 years from today. Whether we're talking about apparel market, which is projected from 1.5 trillion in 2020 to 2.23 trillion in less than 4 years from today. The demand for conventional fashion is on the rise, but a tremendous cost to the environment. For example, to make one pair of jeans takes close to 8,000 liters of water. This amount is equivalent to what a person requires close to takes in a year. With 10 uses of producing these dresses, and they're being discarded, we end up contributing to 21 billion tons of textiles sent to landfills each and every year. In addition, up to 8,000 different chemicals are used to turn raw materials into clothes. The fashion industry produces 10% of global carbon emissions, contributes 20% of wastewater, and consumes more energy than the aviation and shipping industries combined. Why am I telling you this? With increasing consciousness of this impact, there is a greater push for the industry to adopt sustainable practices. Here then lies an opportunity for you to tap and develop your passion around this. You need to then focus on how your chosen area of interest in sustainability can contribute to offer competitive solutions towards sustainable finance. The areas are numerous, and they are endless on how you can drive your career in sustainability. All these are examples just to demonstrate the practicability of a career in sustainability. What you need to do is to ensure your chosen area of interest is retooled, refined, and adapted to offer practical, effective solutions to drive profitability in such leading areas of the economy. But for this, you need to go the extra mile, guided by 4 key principles that I will leave you with today. And the first is, you need to develop what I call an unborrowed vision. Develop your own unborrowed vision, because building a career by focusing in being a solutions provider as opposed to looking for the dream job is a route that few have chosen, and this makes it a matter of risk. What do you really want to do to touch other people's lives, not only to make money? When you step out to make a difference and start using what you have to selflessly touch many lives, expect to face sometimes opposition, including from even your closest circle. You will be asked, what are you getting out of it in terms of direct material gain? You will be discouraged. But what will keep you grounded is the unborrowed vision of how you intend to see sustainability contribute to practical competitive solutions that touch many lives in the globe. And that takes me to the second point, which is identify a clear product and a niche market. Sustainability cannot be practiced in isolation, but within the mainstream of economic activity. Sustainability cannot be premised as an additional layer of regulation alone, but rather as an opportunity to enhance bottom line socioeconomic benefits and profitability. I have given examples of how sustainability can be a source of profitability in various sectors, from forestry and artificial intelligence to fashion and apparel. These are just few examples, but the bigger point that I'm trying to pass is always look at how what you have studied can contribute competitively to deliver sustainability solutions that enhance socioeconomic benefits, which put food on most people's table and more money in more pockets. People don't really care what solutions will bring if they don't see the benefits, but they will own it if they see the benefit. And that takes me to the third point. Leverage existing platforms to communicate your solutions. In today's world, social media is a free tool that can enable you to reach the mass market with unbelievable affordability. If you are not especially on LinkedIn or Twitter and other social medias where you can be able to share value that you are delivering to impact your chosen niche market area, then you will lose out on the opportunity to build the much needed critical mass of supporting enterprises and stakeholders. In social media today lies your market. In social media lies your business partners. In social media lies your suppliers and all the support structure you need to build an name and a career of offering an on-demand solution to the mainstream economy. So get engaged. And that takes me to the fourth point, which is what I call skills retooling. All of us have a chosen area of interest in sustainability, I believe, but to remain relevant in today's dynamic economies, we cannot stop at this. Continuous learning must be part and parcel of what we all do, so that we all complement what we already know with new knowledge and new skills that will move us to the next level of being a competitive solutions provider. Each of us, therefore, must take the personal initiative, regardless of how much we know, to train in new areas that will complement our existing skills to better position us to deliver sustainability solutions competitively and in the context of what is needed in the mainstream economies across the world today. So taking personal initiative, not only to buy books, not only to buy journals, but to read, to research, and undertake online courses that will complement our skills is at the core of building a career in sustainability that will strive in today's continuously changing world. And that takes me to the last point, which to me is the most important. Develop real passion. I call passion the new currency of now. This is to say that regardless of who we are, where we come from, if we lack in enduring passion, then we will run out of steam in no time. The biggest gap we suffer today in the world is what I call the passion and inspiration gap, which is what is needed to drive meaningful development for people and planet. We should work around the clock with passion to complement what we study with realistic entry points that will ensure we seamlessly transition from student to a provider of competitive sustainability solutions that are on demand in the mainstream economic trends. With that passion, regardless of what we do, we might never be able to sustain it and always take chances, even if it means taking a route that is less traveled by others. That is what needs to be done to be able to drive sustainability that can touch the lives of millions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was very interesting. Really interesting hearing your views, especially regarding passion. And yeah, let's move on to the questions. I would like to give the word to Clara.
Yes, hello. I am Clara, and I'm gonna hold this discussion part with the Q&A. Firstly, we would like to thank you once again, Dr. Menang, for your very inspiring speech. We set this up, so if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat or to me, and we'll take them up, or you can yourself raise your hand under the reaction part of Zoom, and you can speak yourself and ask them. I have a question I would like to start off with, and then we can continue with other people's questions. So my first question was to bring this together with the event we had yesterday. We had two speakers from two Swedish organizations, and one of them spoke about agriculture and how to make agriculture sustainable, especially in India, but also here in the West. And one of the points she made was that their organization really saw a connection between gender roles and the ability to create sustainability in agriculture. And I was just wondering if you have any connection to build on that within the UN and your work, if you see the same